Okay. Waiting for it to go live. All right, there we go. Sorry, guys, my thing had gone ahead and froze up on me there for a second. All right, anywho. All right, so on my Discord, MA linked a video, which I have put in the description. And it's a guy that's sitting there and kind of trying to play both sides of the argument. And I don't have a problem with that. I often try to do the same thing. But the thing is he's sitting there and saying, basically, and Bullet actually brought it up in the talk. And it was basically the guy sitting there and saying, yeah, go ahead and spend your years from, 25 to 35 to 40. Go ahead and spend those years, building yourself up, getting your own business running, getting yourself set up, getting all your resources gathered, blah, 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 blah. But then later on in life, you need to get married, and there's ways of protecting your assets, even though we've seen that there aren't. And there's less and less and less since the government's actually going ahead and starting to get to the point where they're all like, yeah, you know what? All we have to do is say that we think you're linked to this group or that group, and so we can freeze your assets and then claim them for ourselves. So, whatever. But the thing is at this point, this guy's sitting here and trying to say, yeah, no, MGTOW is a good idea, but you shouldn't keep the lifestyle all the way through your life. And what's his argument? Well, his argument is, well, you don't want to die with your life having no meaning, right? If I lived my life and I was happy with what I did in my life had meaning. It had meaning to me. So what's the issue? I've always been of the mind, you're born alone, you die alone. Period. Alan, I'm not going to ban Carly. And that doesn't mean I'm not a true MGTOW. It just means that I'm not going to ban freedom of speech. The only time I ban people is when they're actively calling for violence against someone or if they're promoting pedophilia. That's the only times I'll really ban someone, or if they cause massive fucking issues. And in that case, it's a temporary ban, and I remove the ban later. But I don't swing the ban hammer willy-nilly. I don't ban people just because I dislike what they have to say, or because someone in my chat dislikes what they have to say. Yeah, this is actually that guy, Alan. He's saying that men should go ahead, be MGTOW during their younger years to avoid the distraction of women and children or relationships, so that they can go ahead, build up their business, build themselves up, and that sort of thing. He even sits there and states that MGTOW is right about divorce rape and custody laws and so on and so forth. But he fucks up on several things. One, he says most men don't have a problem with child support. That's patently false. The reason why men have a problem with child support is because a lot of the time they go ahead and use these custody laws to take custody away from the man, making it so the man has little to no say in their child's life, yet they hold the man financially responsible for the child, and even more financially responsible because the man doesn't have access to the child. Now, that is a problem in and of itself. Because the thing is at that point, that's like sitting there and saying, oh, a thief came in and stole your property? Well, because you don't have access to that property, let's say the thief stole a PlayStation 4. It's like them sitting there and saying, "Oh, you can't cancel your subscription to the PlayStation Network, but you have to pay it in full." And then you also have to pay for this person's separate access to the PlayStation Network as well. That's the issue. That's the problem. Now, these guys that walk out and walk away and that sort of thing and don't want anything to do, fine. They chose that. But I'm talking about the guys who want to be a part of their child's life, and there's no reason for them to not be a part of their child's life other than the wife does, or the ex-wife or the mother or whatever doesn't want them to be a part of the child's life. That is the issue. Oh, well, Carly, at that point, why is it that women have to pay less when in the same situation? That child doesn't magically become cheaper because the child is in the care of a man. So even your own argument is self-defeating thanks to statistics, numbers. But anywho. Oh, funny, Carly. It wasn't fair that women, didn't have the right to vote and all that sort of shit. But people didn't just say it is what it is. No, they fought against it. Well, guess what? I'm fighting against this fucking shit. Fuck off. And if it seems like I'm in a bad mood, it is, because I absolutely hate purple pills. I've gotten to the point where I hate purple pills. Either you're a blue pill or you're a red pill. You can't have it both ways. I'm starting to view purple pills the same way that I view feminists. They want all the positives with none of the fucking negatives. You can't have it that way. Life is not a buffet. You don't get to choose all the positives and then say that everyone else gets to take on the negatives. You don't get to fucking do that. There's negatives and positives that come with everything. Oh, really, Carly? You mean like in Florida where they sat there and made it to where women, it's much more difficult to make a woman pay alimony when we were starting to actually reach some level of equality? Really? No, they're not. Courts are fighting back against this in every conceivable fucking way. They just need to have the slightest amount of excuse, no matter how far out that excuse is. But anywho, that's not the topic of the talk today. The topic of the talk today is uh is these guys that are purple pilled. They want to sit there and in their youth go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, MGTOW's the way to go." But when you get older, you have to go ahead and put yourself at the risk. Here's the thing: if you're going to take that risk, it's better to take the risk early on in your life when you have less to lose. That's the thing. Getting married later on, when you get fucked over when you're in your 40s or 50s, it's really hard to recover from it. You're probably going to die a pauper at that point. Whereas if you get fucked over in your early 20s, you at least have time to rebuild. So that's the thing. I I vehemently disagree with the guy whose video I posted in the description. I recommend you go and watch it so you can see the bullshit that's being peddled there. And then he sits there and says, "Oh, MGTOWs are gonna come and say heretic." I'm not calling him a fucking heretic. I'm calling him fucking stupid. I'm saying that he is arguing for and against the same thing. But he's arguing in such a way that it's going to maximize the benefits to women, not to men. Period. End of story. If you look at what he is saying, if you actually take it in and break it down, what he's saying is, in your younger years, work your fucking ass off, keep your mind set on this goal of building up your resources, and then later on in life, put it all on the line. Once you're at the point where you can't make your life better again. So a woman can come in and get millions of dollars from you as opposed to just a couple $100,000. That's what he's fucking saying. So yeah, I'm calling this guy out. He calls him he goes by the handle Coach Red Pill. Well, obviously, if you scroll down to my description, I don't call him Coach Red Pill. I call him Coach Purple Pill. This is the first that I've heard of him. This was the first impression that he made on me. Before this, I had never heard of this motherfucker. But I'm going to tell you right now, he's lining men up to take a sniper shot to the fucking head. So, here we are. We've now got men sitting there claiming that, oh, yeah, MGTOW is a good thing when you're young. Well, the thing is gold diggers don't typically go after the young men. They go after the older men. They go after the men that have had time to gather up their resources, that have built basically a dynasty from the ground up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to address a few things that he said. I've already addressed the main crux of his argument, because the title of his video is MGTOW should not be forever. As far as the words are concerned, I agree with. As far as the content of his video, I disagree wholly with it. Period. And no one's going to change my mind on that. But the thing is he's sitting there and he tries to shame MGTOW, saying that MGTOW is a cult. Actually, no, we're not. Some aspects of MGTOW are, yeah, I'll fully agree with that. Some groups of MGTOW are acting like cults. But my channel doesn't act like a cult. I spread information to people and I let them make their own judgment. They can agree with me, they can disagree with me, whatever. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is he's trying to compare MGTOW to a cult lifestyle. No, it's not, because a cult lifestyle means you have to rely on other people. I think this motherfucker has no idea what a cult actually is. One of the trademarks of a cult is separating people from others and making them reliant on some leader, making them reliant on a group. MGTOW doesn't do that. MGTOW says, no, you are your own person. You are responsible for the mistakes that you make. You are responsible for the positives that happen in your life as well as the fucking negatives. A cult does not say that. Oh, I'm talking about Coach Red Pill, MA. I have a link to the video that I'm going off on. It's the video that you linked actually in the Discord. I'm going off on that video right now. Well, MA's the one who actually linked the video to me. Carly. He linked it to me in the Discord. But the thing is he's sitting there, he's trying to shame MGTOW. He's trying to sit there and say, oh, MGTOW is a tool for you to use. Fair enough. Yes, it is. The MGTOW lifestyle is a tool for you to use. But it's not one of those things where you pick it up, use it while it's convenient for you, and then drop it when it's not. Because then it's not going to be effective. MGTOW is meant as a defensive tool. And in our current situation, it's the best defensive tool. Knowing what's going on around you, knowing the risks that you're going to have to take, knowing what's awaiting you when you open up that door and walk out into the world. That is the best defense you can have right now. Knowing what to look out for. Keep your eyes open. Any defense class will tell you the best defense is observance. Any good self-defense course will teach you that. And that is what MGTOW preaches as well. If we're going to go ahead and say that MGTOW is like a religion. I think it's a pretty damn good thing to preach. Observe the world around you. Assess the risks. Assess the dangers. And act accordingly. I don't think that's a bad thing. Some people call that paranoid. Well, a little bit of paranoia goes a long way. Let's be honest. But here we are. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this guy's video. I'm not going to stream it on here. You guys can go ahead and watch it. But in his video, he's basically saying that men need women. Men need to have children. No, we don't. The species needs men to need women. The species needs men to need to have children. Men themselves don't have a requirement of those needs. But the thing is, there's still plenty of fucking blue pill and purple pill assholes out there that are going to go ahead and do that. They can go ahead and pick up that fucking slack. They can go ahead and take the fucking bullet. But men who sit there and say, you know what? I don't ever want to have kids. I don't ever want to get married. I fully support those men. The men that go out and have kids and get married, my sympathies. I'm one of those men. I have a kid. I fucked my life up for 18 to 25 years. Do I love my daughter? Yes. Can I imagine my life without my daughter? I don't even try. because it's a waste of time and energy. Because the fact is, I have a daughter. I have a kid. And I'm the one who has to take responsibility for that. So whatever. It was my dumbass decisions that led me to that point. I have no one to blame but myself. That's what's called taking responsibility for your own actions. However, at the same time, if there's a guy out there that's been abstinent his entire life, but some woman who went out and had sex with some other guy goes ahead and names him as the father, and then the courts sit there and say, oh, well, she said that you're the father, that means you must be the father, and then ignore DNA tests, saying that this guy definitely isn't the father. Well, guess what? That's not his choices that led him to that. That's someone else's choices affecting his life. At that point, he has no blame. And we see that happening, and we see it happening in increasing amounts. Now, whether it's actually happening with more frequency nowadays, or whether or not we're just now actually noticing it, well, that's up for interpretation. But the thing is when you've got these guys that are sitting here saying, yeah, in your younger years, go ahead, build up your resources, but later on in life, once you're at the point of no return, that's when you go ahead and open yourself up for divorce rape. I only have one thing to say to those motherfuckers. Fuck you. Fuck you in the ass with a glowing iron rod. But the fact of the matter is at this point, I see videos like the one that I linked down in the description. And I'm all like, that is a piss poor attempt at a sleight of hand. And the issue is people don't realize that it's bad advice until they've already carried it out, but then it's too late. Now they're suffering the consequences of it, and there's no way out of it. You can't sit there and you don't get a mulligan when it comes to this shit. Once it happens to you, it's happened to you. You've got to live with it now. So I'm going to outright say this. If someone tells you that, if someone says that you should go out, work your ass off throughout your youth, and then in your older years, open yourself up to have all of that taken away from you, they do not have your best interest at heart. And I'm outright calling out this motherfucker. He's a simp. Pure and simple. But he's not wanting women to chisel away at guys because guys really notice that shit. He wants that stray bullet from the grassy knoll to come out of fucking nowhere and take you out in one hit. So you're not able to save yourself. That's what he fucking wants. That's what he's opening you up to. Don't fall for it. I mean, that honestly, that watching that video, I want that time of my life back. I want a time refund. Because that's basically the same as saying, yeah, go ahead, take care of yourself when you're younger, work out, stay fit. But then when you go ahead and you reach the age of 40, down a gallon of bleach. That's basically what this motherfucker's saying. Except he's not saying it on a physical level, he's saying it on a financial level, on a social level. Because you never know, because when you go ahead and watch through this video, he's talking about finances. He doesn't even address the social aspect that comes into play. Doesn't even address it. He's addressing strictly the financial. So he's not even addressing the full MGTOW argument at this point. Because the MGTOW argument isn't about isn't just about finances. It's also about social stigma. The way that men are treated socially in these situations. The results. That's part of the cost benefit analysis. He doesn't address that. He picks out one part and then says something that in face value makes sense unless you're actually a MGTOW, unless you're actually versed in how this shit works, at which point it falls apart even on that level. Men are having an issue with women coming in, getting married to a guy, cheating on him, or just quote unquote getting bored, bouncing out of the fucking contract and getting to walk away with half of the guy's shit and then an absurdly high amount of his fucking paycheck to go to her so she can continue living while she moves on to the next fucking guy. What the fuck? No, yeah. No, I gotta agree with you there. MA says he wants you to pay him to tell you how to fulfill your base nature purpose. You may be immune to this fuckery, but most of your contemporaries are not. Very true. The fact of the matter is, though, that's one of the reasons for my channel. And I honestly hope that my channel does grow eventually. You know, I mean, my channel's seen some growth. That's cool. But the thing is the more people I can go ahead and reach, the more this information gets out there and the more con artists like this motherfucker get the light shown on them to show exactly how ass backwards their thinking is, how stupid what they're preaching is. Because that's the only way to fight this sort of shit, is to show the blatant stupidity and how it doesn't change a goddamn thing. At that point, he's sitting there and saying, oh, don't get fucked over all throughout your life. Just wait until the end of your life to get fucked over hard. That's what he's fucking saying. Does that sound like a winning game plan to you? Doesn't to me. But at multiple points, he sits there and says, MGTOWs are going to point to my video and call me a heretic. And at one point he says, and them calling me a heretic should prove something to you. No, it shouldn't. And the thing is we're not going to call you a heretic because we don't look at ourselves as a fucking religion. What we're going to do is we're going to call out the blatant stupidity of what you're saying. You're saying that we're right, but then you're saying that everyone should do the opposite of what we're saying. That people should only listen to us when they're a low priority target, but then as soon as they become a high priority target, that's when they should go ahead and stop listening to us. Stop listening to the warnings. Stop listening to the stories. Stop listening to the statistics. Stop listening to the social science of it. Stop listening to the observations. But I am so sick and tired of these people sitting there and saying, oh, I'm red pilled. You should listen to me. You should give me money, and then give blue pill advice. What the actual fuck? And this is coming from someone who's considered very much so to be a very, very moderate MGTOW. And I'm having this response to this motherfucker. Like, honestly, what the fuck? Like, with me, yeah, I try to find a happy medium. I try. It's not easy. In fact, it's more of a challenge to find a happy medium. This motherfucker isn't trying to find a happy medium. What he's doing is he's saying, oh, don't go ahead and put yourself at this risk until you have everything to lose and you can't possibly get out from under it. He never addressed hypergamy, which is another massive part of MGTOW, I guess you'd call it, philosophy. He never fucking addressed it. And what part that plays into this dynamic. This guy sat there and said, oh, MGTOWs are right in the fact that men are fucked right now whenever it comes to divorce law and child custody law. He says that. There's the olive branch. But then here comes the fucking snake across the fucking olive branch when he sits there and says, but when you get older, you should seek out a relationship. No, you shouldn't. And he sits there and says, well, when you have no one to share it with, you have plenty of people to share it with. Because when you're a successful man, guess what? You tend to have friends. You can share that with your friends. Take them out for a fucking beer. If you're meaning as far as spread the love, take them out for a fucking beer. Take them on a trip to Vegas. Take them on a trip to Hawaii. Buy him a fucking hooker. Whatever. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When it comes down to these blue pill or purple pill manginas and simps, their argument boils down to, oh, if you get married to a woman, you get companionship. You know how else I get companionship? By hanging out with my fucking friends. Yes, MA, I said buy a hooker. Shouldn't say buy, I should say rent. But the thing is, as far as companionship is concerned, men can get. Well, you see, the thing is MA, as far as that's concerned, when you get married, you have to give your name. You have to give all your contact information, all that sort of shit. When you rent out a hooker, guess what you don't have to do? Kind of hard to go after someone when you know absolutely nothing other than their descriptor. Or how about this? All right, MA, you got a problem with the buy him a hooker? Buy him a sex bot. I don't care if you were part of the porn industry. Like I said, if women want to use their sexuality to make money, if they want to go ahead and pose nude or sit there and take dicks from 90 different fucking guys and get paid to do it, what the fuck ever, I don't care. That's their thing. What I do care about is when they sit there and then use their sexuality to get a guy to fucking marry them and then use the guy as a fucking if as a fucking savings account, as a golden umbrella retirement plan, as Raging Golden Eagle puts it. But the fact of the matter is you get guys like this motherfucker that sit there and tell guys, yeah, you should avoid women in your younger years. But when you get into your older years, when you've got a whole bunch of resources that they can go ahead and take, that's when you should go ahead and get involved. No, you shouldn't. That's like sitting there and saying, oh, while you're healthy, you should do everything you can to avoid illness. But as soon as you go ahead and contract AIDS, then you should go out and you should go ahead and kiss everyone with a runny fucking nose. It's stupid. MA says hookers, sex bots, or wives, it's all using your resources to sate your base nature. It's all lowbrow shit. I'm lowbrow. One look at me will tell you this. I'm very in tune with my base nature. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just don't let your base nature rule your life. Don't let your base nature rule your decisions. And if you're going to make decisions based off of your base nature, then at least be smart about it. Minimize risks. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I know you weren't attacking me, MA. I know. And I'm not mad at you. I know I might sound mad at you, but at this point, I'm just in general pissed off. But the fact is guys want to stick their dick into things because it feels good. We're kind of hardwired for that shit. Fine. But just be aware of where you're sticking your dick. Don't stick your dick in crazy. So that means don't stick your dick in a woman. Go ahead. If you're going to stick your dick into an electric outlet, at least make it an electric outlet that is geared toward bringing pleasure to your penis. Just saying. No, I don't talk with my hands because it feels good, Carly. Yeah, it's strictly because I'm fucking Italian and I grew up in an Italian household, and it just becomes a part of it. No, I'm saying all men are hardwired for that, but some men give into it a little bit more. Because the thing is we are animals. All animals are programmed to fuck. MA. All of us are programmed to fuck. It's a basic part of our genetic code. It's a basic part of our neurological systems. Is it part of our lizard brain? Yes, it is. But guess what? Your lizard brain very often overrides your higher functions. I am applying it. All right. MA says we are hardwired to shit too, but most of us shit in toilets. For some reason, we have not applied this to sex. I'm applying it to sex right now, MA. I'm saying instead of just fucking whatever comes your way, I'm saying go ahead and fuck a robot. Fuck something that's specified as a receptacle for it. Hey, Neo, how's it going? No, I'm not suggesting that we fuck toilets, MA. Oh my god, you trolly bastard. No, I'm not saying that you fuck toilets. I'm saying we're making sex bots. As far as sex is concerned, fucking a woman is basically the equivalent of shitting where you eat. So the thing is I'm saying go ahead and basically consider sex bots the sexual equivalent of a toilet. There you go. It's specified for it. And don't get me wrong, abstinence is a good idea for guys. Like if you don't have something like that. But you know what else is a good idea? Jerking off. Jerking off is perfectly fucking fine. It's a lesser version of sex, but hey, whatever. But with this guy, he's sitting here and saying, not that you should remain abstinent throughout your life. He's not preaching that. He's not saying that you should be careful throughout your life. He's not saying that. What he's saying is you should rely on the government to protect your assets from what he called cheating slut whores or whatever. He's saying that you should trust the government to protect your assets from these women. The very same government that put into place laws that allowed them to take all your shit to begin with. Really? That's like sitting there and saying you should hire the thief that robbed you as your security. It's stupid. I say don't trust the government. The government doesn't have your interest in mind. They have their own interests in mind. So it's not wrong for you to have your interests in mind. And Carly, at this point, I'm not even going to really respond to you anymore. I'm not going to allow this to get derailed anymore. MA's doing a good enough job. But this guy tries to protect himself with the same mantra that feminists and SJWs use. Oh, if someone disagrees with me, then that should prove that I'm right. No, 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 no. That's not how this works, motherfuckers. And all right, what's Oh, okay. Someone brought up HIPAA. No, no, no. That's for a completely different thing. But I am just so sick and tired of these pseudo intellectuals thinking that the rest of us are so fucking stupid that we can't run a thought experiment in our own minds and see how piss poor it's gonna fucking end. So I'm just saying, when you're watching someone who sits there and says that they're red pilled, actually put them to the fucking test. Actually test what they're saying versus what it means to be red pilled. Is what they're saying aligning with logic, reason, and reality? But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end this stream early. Uh, I know it's only been about 50 minutes, but hey, whatever. This was a very specialized stream. Thank you to everyone for coming and listening to my rambling. But yeah, honestly, go ahead and watch this guy's video. Keep what I said in mind. Watch the video and actually analyze what he's fucking saying. Run the thought experiments in your head. See if it makes any fucking sense or if this guy is a fucking shyster. Because the fact of the matter is at this point, I say that this guy is absolutely 100% not on your side as a man. He's on the side of women and he just wants to set you up as a fucking target. He wants to set you up as a fucking payday. That's all he fucking wants. And with that ending comment, have yourselves a great day, and I'll talk to y'all later.